the Maguas. Welcome to the show.
What's up?
Hey,
How you doing? How you doing?
Thanks for having us, Popko.
Who decided to have this on a night that the Eagles are playing football?
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I think that was James' idea.
Yeah, it's definitely
right?
Jenks' fault. That's all Jenks.
Yeah.
He hates the birds.
Hey. Go Birds. I don't even.
You're a big Eagles fan, right, Matt?
Oh yeah, love the Eagles.
That's what I
got
thought.
my,
I'm driving home, right? I'm like, I had the right night, right? Because I'm an Eagles fan too. So I'm like,
Oh nice.
I have it on. So if you see me look off to the distance, I'm watching the game.
Yeah.
I'll keep you updated.
Figured we
Yeah,
tried
let's
to,
keep these dates going every.
try
I'm
to
like-
save you the pain
I
watching.
mean, I can't
lose,
imagine. I can't imagine that these guys would want to have this on the night of an Eagles game. That's why I messaged you at 8:30 tonight. I'm like, "It's tonight, right? Yep. Okay. All right.
He's like, all right, we can share.
It is November 20th. This probably won't be released until maybe the first week of December, which, by the way, might be 2 years to the date that we had the last episode.
Oh,
Really?
Huh.
Wow.
Wow.
I was
Damn.
actually, which is weird, right? But I was
Yeah.
going, I
That is
went back
wild.
to listen to the last one just to kind of hear what we talked about. I didn't want to repeat too much, right? And there's a few things I noticed. The date, right? And then us talking over one another by complete accident, complete chaos. I mean, that's the problem with doing these Zoom things. It's like
Yeah.
it's hard to know when someone's talking and stopping to talk and who's going to talk when. It's very difficult.
Definitely.
So
Mhm.
some things don't change. 2 years later, I'm still on the search for a studio.
Makes
And
sense.
by in the search or on the search, I mean whoever has space that they want to donate to me.
I think Luke said he donated his house
Yes.
to you.
Yeah.
I heard that. I don't
I
know.
don't have a house, so I don't know how I can do it.
It's on the highway in Scranton right now.
Yeah.
He is. Luke's out of
I'm
town.
just enjoying
Oh,
it.
that's
He's
He's
gonna
on the
he's gonna
streets.
donate his street corner to you for your studio.
Yeah,
But yeah,
That's
I
it.
mean,
you could busk with me.
yeah, and then when this comes out, it'll be around the 3-year mark of this podcast.
Wow.
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 That's awesome.
Awesome.
3 years. Of,
Congratulations.
thank you. Yeah, I mean, who would have thought that I'd still be doing this 3 years later?
Love it.
Freaking awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. I do.
Yeah.
I don't love days like today though, because I worked all day, right?
Mhm.
And then I also I'm going to be a basketball public announcer
Love it.
for King's
Ooh.
College, men and women.
Let's
yeah.
go.
Tonight I went and shadowed the guy who's been doing it for like 38 years because I have no idea what I'm doing. So I shadowed him. I ran home quick, got out of my car, messaged you guys, and now I'm drinking my dinner.
There you go.
Nice.
Cheers.
Sweet.
And branded mug. I love it. The Popko brand.
Yeah. I just got
You got
stickers.
soup
I
in
just
the
got
mug?
That's
stickers
it.
today. Yeah,
Looks great, man.
just got stickers today. Yeah, it's all good. So yes, so 3 years of the Popko Project podcast, still in my basement. No
Nice.
real advancements. 3 years.
It's a nice basement.
Yeah,
makes
it looks
sense.
real
Very
nice.
space.
It's
Still
great.
works, right?
I make
Decorated for
festive,
Christmas.
If it
Well,
works,
yeah,
it works.
that's my wife. She did that.
Love it.
She-
It's perfect.
Nice. Nice.
May I remind you, it is November 20th, and I have my entire house is decorated for Christmas.
Yeah, I've already been
Out-
listening to
sweet.
Christmas music. Oh, Oh,
Inside-
Mm-hmm.
Certainly already on the radio.
Inside, outside, you name it.
hmm
Interception Eagles.
Oh, there you
Oh
go.
boy.
In,
How do you feel about that?
in the Chiefs end zone? How about that? That's good news.
Wow, that is good.
Ah.
There you go.
Well,
I'll
It is a big
commentate.
game.
I'll
Yeah.
commentate on basketball. I'll commentate on football. Let's go.
Let's say you're just getting warmed up.
Well, so I'm on my quest to become Joe Rogan. I'm doing the
There it is.
podcast.
Let's go.
I'm doing
Oh yeah.
some sports stuff now.
have you been dabbling in like DMT and?
Yeah. Well, hey, got ideas. Let's go.
Smoking with Elon.
Yep.
Oh man. But yeah, so the last episode was with you guys was 2 years ago,
Mm.
and I feel a lot has happened. You guys just dropped your first full length album.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
That was
Yeah,
like
that-
what, November 10th?
It's out.
I think it was.
Yeah, 10 days ago.
Yeah. So
It's crazy how that works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, but like it's you guys have been together for a long time.
Hmm.
This has been a big moment. I just saw you guys got vinyl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sir,
Yeah.
yes, sir.
Very first.
Yeah.
And this is all on CI Records as well. Like so,
Mhm.
I mean, a lot has happened in 2 years. But the
Definitely
most
has.
important thing is you guys are still together because that's a feat in
Yeah.
itself, right?
Indeed.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
We don't hate each other yet. Yeah. It's really nice.
Every time I see you guys, you're always happy. Maybe good actors.
Something in the water.
The camera's always on. That's why.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Everyone gets more handsome. Like Matt's cut his hair.
He did. I think
Yeah.
Dalton did too.
Crazy.
He's gone.
It's actually, I don't know who has longer hair right now. It might be me or Dawn. Oh, and
I don't
Dawn's
know.
hair
We go
grows
back and forth.
crazy
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah.
I just cut
Mine's
this
kind of-
like pretty short a month and a half ago, and it's already coming back. Like I can get like down to my shoulder length hair in under a year. I swear to God, it grows fast. But me and Jinx switch back
Yeah.
and forth. One of us has long hair, one of us doesn't.
Yeah, it's
We go
Only
back and
one.
forth.
it's kind of like, and then like, we're gonna meet in the middle probably soon, and then
Mhm.
They're gonna
we'll
smooch.
probably get
Kiss.
another.
Yeah. Right, I know what's gonna happen.
There it
We do
is.
that all the
You're
time.
gonna
I
be
mean,
just right,
we don't
like-
need hair.
and you'll
Like,
Yeah,
never feel
our
more
hair doesn't
connected
need
with
to be
each
the
other.
same length. to
Yeah,
kiss,
I
that's
mean-
for sure.
that's yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That doesn't affect that.
The length of both their hair reach the same. They just touch hands and they create a black hole. Everything around them just disintegrates into nothing.
That's where we've been the past 2 years. We were just sucking that
I've just been working on that.
Yep.
I was gonna ask, is that what has happened in 2 years? That this
Yeah.
is what
Yeah.
we're doing now?
Yep.
Pretty
Me and
much.
Jinx are creating black holes apparently.
Black holes.
The power of the sun in the
Working on
palm of your hand. That's
Do
that's our
true
plan.
singularity.
All based off of hair length and hair growth.
Yeah.
Didn't Soundgarden have a song about that?
I don't know. That's Luke's
Yeah. Luke,
territory there.
what do you got?
Knees. What are you talking about? I don't know. Black hole sun. I don't know about hair length.
There you go.
Yeah, black hole. Black
That's
hole
what that song's about. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
remember hair length songs. They might have one though. That's more Primus's territory, I think.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay. I think did we talk about Primus last time? I
I
think we
don't
did.
know.
Probably.
Did
Luke
Probably.
likes to bring up stuff.
Give him a 1 out of 5 chance we talk about.
What a weird thing
Yeah.
to bring things up. That's
I mean, you just sit
Bizarre
there during
behavior.
practice. You'll play too many puppies over and over again until we all notice.
because it's a jam.
It gets quiet for too long. And
So here's what we did.
Yep.
We did talk about
There it
Primus
is.
and too many puppies because we talked about the sick puppies and how sick they were.
right.
Ah,
The whole
because
thing.
COVID. Yeah.
Yeah. So two other things we talked about that I want to real quick address. Last time Eric was drinking a Bud Light holiday seltzer.
Mm.
Can't do that anymore. Can't do that anymore.
The world has fallen apart. You
Yeah.
know?
It's shame for drinking Bud Light.
Shame, right?
I like Bud Light. I do. I mean, it's not my first, choice of beer to go to, but of all the light beers, Miller Lite's my go-to.
Sure.
Same.
For the most part, Miller Lite, Coors Light. If Coors
Mhm.
Light's my sponsor, it's always Coors Light. But yeah, I mean, second or third is Bud Light. I mean, and now it's ruined because
Yeah.
society says it's ruined.
But they
That
still
is-
make Bud Light Lime,
Yep.
right? That's still a thing? Because that's pretty good.
Brandon likes
Bud
that.
Light.
Bud Light Lime is
Dude,
pretty
has defined a
tasty.
generation.
Bud Light Orange is my favorite out of the.
Yeah, it's also very good.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You
Mhm.
could be the change that you want to see in the world. You could do the
That's
very
it.
brave thing of continuing to drink Bud Light.
I was at an Incubus show. I was drinking Bud Light
Mm.
Look at that.
There you go.
just 2 months ago.
Yo.
Changing the world
Incubus.
one Bud Light at a time.
Things are looking up.
Yes.
They are.
Solving the world's problems.
But yeah, drinking Bud Light seltzer 2 years ago, and then we also talked about Vinny at the V Spot
Oh, yeah.
boy.
and
Yeah.
how I shoved a banana down into my pants in the back room of the V Spot, which is always a weird place to go because it's right behind the bar and people see you go back there. So literally a year later, that a fun moment, not really fun, but we'll talk about it. I was in the back room with Frank and Vinny. It was a Steamtown Awards, I believe. And I just won 2 awards. I'm flying high. I'm trying to strike a deal with the V Spot, be a sponsor.
Mhm.
Vinny's all about
Yes.
supporting, those who support him, very, very generous with his money. Frank, on the other hand, is very, we'll use the word frugal.
Sure.
But at that moment, we're in the back room, the three of us, and Frank, I have it recorded. Frank said, "Give him whatever he wants."
Ooh.
Okay,
Ooh,
give him whatever he wants.
whatever.
And I can't remember if that was prior or post this happening. We're doing shots. We're doing shots. I believe it's Redbreast. Is that
Yeah, that's an Irish whiskey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the three of us are doing shots of this whiskey, and it's pretty tight back there. I'm sure you guys know. And I don't know what happens. I don't know who said something funny or what happened, but Frank literally spit whiskey into my eyes, straight into my eyeballs.
Pretty hardcore.
Like, I think about
That's
it.
a
It's
normal
funny.
V-spot story. That's just what
That's-
happens
yeah.
when you go
Really
there.
normal. That's
But it was the whole. It was just like spray everywhere,
God.
right into my.
Say-
I'm like face to face with him, directly into my eye. I didn't have to close my eyes.
He
It was-
did say you'd get whatever you wanted, so
Whatever
you
you
must not
want.
remember asking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should have
Oh.
specified. God damn. So yeah, so those are things that's happened in the past 2 years.
Yeah.
That's it. That's
Yeah.
everything.
It's
Wow.
I
wonderful.
don't know if we did
It's a
much in the
wrap.
past 2 years.
Yeah.
Let's just take it month by month.
No, but seriously, talk about. I mean, this is 2 years probably in the making, right? Maybe this EP, the EP come out. No, we talked about the EP last time. So 2
Mhm.
years
Yeah.
since
Yeah.
you've released this full length record. So talk about what's been happening.
Yeah. I mean, we've been touring. We were in the studio twice for this album.
Mhm.
So a lot of
Yep.
talks behind the scenes on things that we're getting together. So it took a while to all come together, but here we are, first full-length album. I think that we're all pretty proud of it and ready to support it in all different kinds of ways.
Yeah, and
Definitely.
also signing on to CI in that
Yeah.
as well. That was part of that whole thing. Releasing our
Mhm.
first
Mhm.
full length underneath the record label and having that to support us is one of the best things that could have happened to us, I think.
Mhm.
For sure.
Yeah.
Talk about
So-
that. Talk about. I mean, because record deals or signing to a label these days might look a little different than what people know of 20 years ago. What does that mean for you guys as a band, signing with CI Records?
I mean, I think the biggest thing is just help overall in any single category
Yep.
that we need, whether it's financial, whether it's just life advice or band advice, things like that. They've really been in handy on that stuff. And, we've gotten close with Dakota and Jeremy and Mike over at CI, and Jeremy's been so helpful in all different types of avenues for it. I think it's just mainly when you need advice on where to go, they're there to help you out and they're there to
Totally.
guide you in that direction.
And what kind
Yeah.
of advice would you say that you're seeking when you're asking these questions?
I mean, at least from my perspective, I'd say more of a business minded advice, because like when you're a band and you just are a bunch of friends to get together to write music, like obviously you have an idea of what you want to sound like what you're going to write. You have a strong sense of your creative process, but the whole business element and how that like interfaces with actually coming up with like producible things to distribute and organizing events and touring and all that kind of stuff. The business side of it, there's a lot of questions that come up. So that form of guidance is probably the most sought out and appreciated.
Mhm.
Yeah, the other part too is like I think the label or like any label would be invaluable for the connections that they provide more so than
Definitely.
anything else, because there's just so many people and networking is so important, where when you have a group of people that are working in your best interest, they have so many things they could bring up or think of that you wouldn't even realize is a possibility because you just simply weren't exposed to it yet. So whether that's like, vinyls being on a massive back order or things like that, like there's ways to try to figure out getting things to meet certain deadlines and much more like streamlined from like that standpoint.
Mhm.
Definitely.
Gotcha. And as far as like
Well
signing a
said.
deal, what does that look like? I mean, how did that materialize? obviously they're aware of you guys, and that you're part of the conference for the Electric City. I know that Joe Caviston is part. God, I hate saying his name every fucking episode. I say his name, but I know that he's brought Jeremy of CI Records into town a few times. I don't know how you guys met, but I mean, do they approach you and say, "Hey, we're interested in signing you guys," or is this something that you kind of like present to them, saying, "Hey, like we're looking for a representation. Here's what we have to offer. Like, can you help us out?" How does that play out?
Yeah. So for this particular relationship, it kind of started with a show opportunity. Because CI also has like another side of their company, their business, which is like CI Productions, which works out of like HMAC and venues down in like the Harrisburg, Lancaster region. And we were working on a show opportunity down there. We linked up with Jeremy. And after that show had happened, he kind of just gave us a phone call. He said he was interested, and it ended up being like a year-long process in terms of the discussion with Jeremy and CI. I think there was a lot of stuff for us to work out and figure out what the best move was in terms of trying to move forward with a type of signing relationship. We knew we wanted to do a record, but we didn't know exactly how that was going to take place. We weren't sure if it was going to be what it came to be now, which is some remastered works and new songs as well, or a completely new record, and figuring out all those little nitty gritty details. Took a lot of planning and a lot of discussion with us, and making sure we were all on the same page. So that was one of those just unique opportunities where Jeremy kind of checked us out, took a chance on us, I guess, for a show or two, and then once he started to see the kind of work that we did and how we sounded live and that kind of stuff, the relationship just grew and grew and grew, and we got the fortunate opportunity to work with them. So very thankful about that.
I think that the big thing too was Launch Music Conference in Lancaster. We got a chance to meet those guys and play with a bunch of really awesome bands. This last year we played with Tiny Moving Parts, and I just think that being able to sit down and just talk with them face to face is not something we've really ever had the ability to do as a band with like representation and managers and stuff, because we've had other people we've worked with, great people in the past, but whether it was because of COVID or distance reasons, we just never were able to meet face to face and sit down and talk to them. I think a big thing for us was meeting with Jeremy at those Launch Music conferences and finding out the people that they are and talking with them. That was a really big thing for us moving forward with them. And then from there, it was just the typical business relationship type stuff that we had to hammer out. But everything from that point on is just about us growing, together.
Definitely.
I would say I definitely need to point out that like the most tangible beginning to our relationship with CI, I would say, is the basement of the studio at like 2 a.m. with a 30-pack of Miller Lite.
Oh,
We
yeah.
work together.
Oh, yeah.
A phone call with Jeremy. Jeremy works like from like 7 p.m. to like 5 a.m. I swear to
He's
God.
like a wombat.
He's
I'm
he's like
exaggerating.
a real life vampire.
Yeah. So that was like the first time, like we've been talking back and forth a little bit, mostly like him and Brandon going back and forth to us to try and like get some questions together. And I just find it hilarious. That's the actual like first full meeting, I think.
Yeah, and that night we had
And
to drink after drinking a bunch and singing a bunch of Nickelback songs all together. We got on a phone call with Jeremy
We did.
at 2 a.m.
It was
Oh,
from
God.
like midnight till like 2:30 in the morning or 3 in the morning, I think.
Yeah.
Oh.
See, Nickelback is a good thing.
Yeah. Oh,
Definitely.
100%.
Nickelback brings people together.
It does. Look at
Definitely.
this. Nickelback makes dreams come true is what it
True.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I'm going to see Creed next year.
There you go.
Nice.
Yeah.
Creed is life.
Creed is
is,
life.
yes.
You need to listen to Creed at least once a day, or you're
There's
not doing it right.
there's a good follow on Instagram. It's called butt rock. Hold on. Come on.
Sounds great
But
so
it's
far.
called Butt Rock Night. Butt Rock Night. It's good.
Night.
Yeah, good follow on Instagram. A lot of Creed inspired memes and
Oh,
all that kind of
perfect.
stuff. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Beautiful.
They're hitting their peak now since the
It's
Rangers
incredible.
used them to win the World Series.
That's
That was
it.
their big
Dude.
thing. They were listening to them during the World Series. Now Creed's back at the peak. It's like it's 2001.
Well,
Creed's
they
back,
sold out
baby.
that cruise. They
Well-
did a cruise and they sold it out like
I know.
day one.
I
That was
know.
prior. It was prior to the whole.
I know.
I don't know. Everybody's
Creed
winning
Cruise.
that's jamming Creed. Like
That's
I just
right.
saw a meme like the Vikings apparently
Yeah.
are playing Creed now in their locker room, and they're
The
like, I don't know,
Maguas.
they started winning. Maguas.
The Maguas.
I jam a lot of Creed.
Yeah.
I do. Not ashamed of it either. I love it.
Well, it's funny that Brandon's still in the band because I feel like Brandon was kind of like the business guy, kind of, right? Now,
Yeah.
Jeremy's and the team at CI
That's
Records.
it.
So when does Brandon come?
That's it. That's where it goes.
I would say the
right.
reason is most drummers smell a lot worse than Brandon.
That's it.
Brandon's
Dark
very
and
cleanly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is. Look,
Well-
he always has his hair done nice and that nice.
That's it.
Yeah.
You should
Just
see
want
him
to kiss
in,
him every
in
time.
in the hotel rooms after a show or something like that. He's got to clean up. He'll make the bed
That's it.
right after you get up in the morning.
It's true.
Your shoes will be put in
He
the
does.
corner, neatly placed together with all your stuff. And it's like
Just
7
eat
in the
all your
morning.
food.
So, yeah. Brand's already showered, gone for a walk, cleaned the entire hotel room.
That's it.
This is all,
Got the
this is all
itinerary for
true.
the day.
There needs to be one.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
It's okay.
There is only one.
Because one is like 3. You know, just keep it going.
Well, with that being said, Brandon, has that enabled you to kind of, release yourself of that duty and kind of focus on, more band stuff like, drumming?
Yeah, there's been I guess one of the nice transitions is that Mike at CI has taken over a lot of the creative, all of the assets that came out for this record. He helped make a lot of those things, which, we used to spend a lot more time doing that. And Dakota at CI, he does a lot more of the A&R. He'll do a lot more of the pitching. It opened a lot more avenues for us to kind of focus on certain aspects of the band, like whether that was focusing on podcast outreach or PR or something in a different realm outside of trying to do a little bit of everything at one time, which is nice for myself, and I feel like for the band too, because we can kind of look and say, okay, well, the label is helping the more broad aspect of the business. What can we focus on to really hone in and take to the next level or dedicate money or funds to? And that's kind of fun. It's been an interesting time because with the record and everything coming out, it kind of flies by. It started in, I guess September 8th was the first single we dropped, and now here we are, November 20th. It's like, oh, okay, it's already here. Like, it's just in a flash. So now I think I'm looking ahead already to, okay, what's going to be the next thing? Not necessarily as a record, but in terms of what are we as a band going to focus on to continue to push the record and continue to push ourselves with the record being out, which is kind of a cool little takeaway.
It's enabled Brandon to go from 200 emails a day to about 2,000 emails a day. So now,
Now we're really cooking.
He's freed up.
The anxiety
really
doesn't
let
go
him
away;
go.
it shifts.
It just
to a
shifts
different
into
thing.
different. That's it.
That's good.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And does the label, like, back in the day when you'd sign to labels, they would like dress people and they would give them a look.
Mhm.
I'm
That
assuming
hasn't happened yet.
not yet,
not
right? But,
yet.
like, I mean, this is
Yeah.
this is a little bit of different level, but like, have they done any kind of things where, hey, you guys need to do this, whether it be, I don't know, song types or anything that might be not who you are? Have they done that at all? And maybe it's like, it's not a painful thing for you guys to do. It's just like, oh, we didn't think of that. We didn't think about that being a big thing or making a big impact. We should do that, and it'll be beneficial for us.
I think anytime you get into a relationship with the label, they're going to have some say on stuff that you weren't even thinking about, like song order and singles and,
Yeah.
what song we're going to be putting on, the album here and there and there. So this one's going second, this one's going fourth. And things, we thought about, but we thought about it in a more creative way where they might think about it as more of a marketing way. So I definitely think that they've had like an influence on that stuff and told us what they think. And I think it's been much more collaborative than I would imagine most other record labels are with their bands. So that's been really nice. They really like to take our input on how we want to go about it. But they've certainly had their input, and I think that it's not ever been butting of heads. It's been more of a collaborative idea. as far as like anything creative for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's
I
how-
think also like just when it comes to that, as far as like looking at the songs in a more critical way, like as far as like an audience or like promoting it or looking at like the way we dress for photos, things like that. I think for a decent amount of time now, we've kind of been trying to have those conversations internally to begin with, because we're kind of just like a couple simple dudes making music. You don't really think in that way in everyday life. So I think we've really kind of tried to do that on our own. So really nothing sticks out too much to me.
Loincloths are coming in 2025. Get ready.
That was a big one, yeah.
Yeah, we're really switching it up.
That was
Coming
label
soon.
requested, yeah.
Yeah. They
My
really
buddy-
want to take
my buddy in
that
college.
direction.
My buddy in college, he had like an obsession with loincloths. I don't know why. It was 2003, but like at parties, like he would disappear
Here
and
it
come
comes.
out with just that. There was a time. I won't even say his name because he's like a neurologist now. He's like big time in the hospital.
He's doing all right.
Not that anyone in his
Amazing.
his circle would hear this, but he one time he ran across like Wyoming Ave in Kingston, which is like the busiest street or avenue in Kingston. He ran across the street in that to the grocery store, bought like a soda out of the vending machine, and then ran back. Yeah, I think you guys should do that.
We're bringing him back. Bringing him
absolutely.
back.
Loined right
Yeah.
up.
100%.
He was ahead of his
The
time.
ideas are cooking.
Oh.
Caveman video.
Well, I mean, gimmicks
There's an
work.
opportunity.
Gimmicks
Gimmicks,
work, I
yeah.
think.
Gimmicks do
Gimmicks
work.
definitely
We'll
work.
be like
Yeah.
that dwarvish metal band from Sweden. What's the name
Yo,
of that? Luke?
don't you besmirch their name.
What's the name of
So
it?
mad.
I did. Diggy diggy
What's
hole,
your
baby.
name? I don't know the name.
Windrose, right?
Windrose,
Yeah,
yeah.
Windrose. Diggy
Yeah.
diggy hole.
Diggy diggy hole.
Oh.
Dwarf
Well,
metal.
all right.
Phenomenal
So,
song.
Popko, are you
Phenomenal
familiar
song.
with this dwarf band?
No, please elaborate.
They're not dwarf people.
They're awesome.
They're
They're
full
not
sized, but they're
Full-size dwarf men. Grown
Full
dwarf.
size.
Well,
But they dress
We-
as like dwarves from fantasy
Yep.
novels and stuff like that.
Okay.
yeah. It's funny because we were it was one of our tours in the summer and we were heading to Boston. And this was all kind of just coincidence. But Luke was like, yo, you got to check out this dwarf band. And what is it called? I believe Luke was the one who introduced us. But
yeah, I was
it
jamming
turns out
it
that
for like
they
a
were-
week.
Is that the preferred nomenclature, or is it? little
Yes,
people?
no, they call
Yeah,
them.
it's
No,
nice.
they
Dwarf-
call them
it's
dwarf
dwarf metal.
But
I don't want you to
believe
get
they're
in trouble.
dwarves.
Listen, I don't want all the record labels to see this because they're gonna watch, they're gonna
Hey.
listen. I don't want you to get in
No.
trouble. Like I'm here for you. I'm here for you.
Let's
Yeah.
all be
Yeah,
dwarfs.
yeah.
That's
They
what I said.
on
Yeah.
Spotify it says dwarvish metal.
Okay.
That's what
Yeah,
they call
they're
it.
Yeah,
dwarf
they're like
metal
Lord
band.
of the Ring dwarves.
Yes.
All right, continue.
But anyway, I guess they played at the same venue we played at the night
Like,
before. You
the
guys
night
remember?
Yeah, like
before.
2 days before.
And it was all-
And they're from
it's
like
awesome.
Italy or something. They're Swedish
Yeah.
or something like that. And they were playing in Boston in the same spot as us the night before. And then we jammed them the entire way into Boston.
Yeah, they're
Kismet,
Italian. They're
Italian.
It's
Italian.
fantastic.
Yep.
A Kismet
And that's
moment.
probably the
Dwarf
most
metal.
excited I've ever been to set up for a show because all I did was talk to the sound guy there, and I was like, "Yo, did you run the sound for them?" He was like, "Yeah." I'm like, "How the fuck was that? Like, that was really crazy." And he goes,
That
"It
was really
was
neat.
absurd." I was so hype. I talked about it for like half an hour
That's
with
the
the guy.
most Lucas ever talked at a show was to the sound guy about
And
the
the-
dwarvish Italian metal band.
And one of the
Mhm.
tallest guys I know.
Oh yeah, there it is.
I'm telling you right now, though, if you play a song to close out the podcast, you should do it.
Diggy diggy hole.
Diggy diggy hole.
Diggy diggy hole.
diggy
What's the band name again?
I think it's
Windrose.
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 Wind
Wind
Rose.
Rose.
Yeah.
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 Diggy
it out.
diggy hole.
Diggy. That's a funny name.
I adore that band.
Great.
I expect to see them in my top 5 for my Spotify rap this year.
They're so good.
How has the new album? I mean, this is the first full length release from the Maguas. I mean, how I don't like getting caught up in the numbers, and people who say that typically have very low numbers. That's me. But from a band that has a good foundation, many years of releasing songs and touring and all that kind of stuff, how has this new record been received publicly, on Spotify and all that kind of stuff?
Pretty good.
Yeah, I'd say
Yeah.
I'm definitely happy with the numbers we've seen. It's been wild. We have always kind of been like the looking into the statistics type band. Although I think in recent years we've kind of more focused on the tangible things, which is something that I know that other members in the band have really pushed for, and I think it's also helped that relationship with CI is understanding that there is another aspect to this business than just putting songs on Spotify, if that makes sense. But in terms of those numbers, it's been kind of wild. We had a great pre-save campaign for the record, which was something that we always worked on, but this year for some reason it really did well. We had like 20,000 saves on the record, which is awesome.
22,000.
Yeah, which is great. And then in terms of actual sales, I don't have like official numbers of that, but being able to see people, new fans of the Maguas and OG fans on record day or the day when they received their vinyl post about that and seeing that, it was kind of, I guess for me, a little bit shocking seeing like, oh my God, like this one guy I went to college with bought this. Like I haven't talked to him in 2 years, but he bought our record, and seeing things like that, it means a lot to us, I think. And I think it's been a great release so far. I'm definitely very happy with how things have gone.
And I think we this record specifically in this release, we focused on physical sales, and I know that the label really pushed that too, is having the vinyls to sell, and to see, like Brandon said, the people that bought it and posted a video like, oh, look at what came in the mail, and I'm getting text messages left and right that are like, just threw on the vinyl for the first time, it sounds incredible, and that stuff's really cool. And we've always, like Brandon said, checked the numbers and stuff like that. But that kind of stuff is something that we really focused on this go around, is trying to get the physical copies out there and trying to have that moment of, oh my God, we got the record. And look at this. This is a different copy than the other person has. This is the splatter version. This is the evergreen version. This is the sea glass version. That's stuff that we really, really thought was important this go around. And the response has been incredible.
There's nothing better than something tangible, right? Whether it's a record, a CD, or a cassette. I mean, I think there was some bands trying to bring cassettes back for whatever reason. But I mean, talk about how cool. I mean, you guys are younger than me, and I mean, I grew up in a cassette, then CD. I never really had vinyl. Vinyl was more my parents, and I never got into vinyl when it kind of came back around. But I mean, I think there's a little bit of a level of like, not that we made it, but like, hey, we did this. We have something tangible. It's a CD or it's a record, and you're talking about different styles of these records. Talk about that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a big vinyl person, and I didn't even realize that they could be so pretty looking. I had no clue. Like,
that's the only thing that's cool about them. That's the only thing that's cool. They don't sound better. That's the only thing that's cool about them is fucking artistically, they're fucking awesome. Yeah,
they really do.
Sorry to cut you off, but yeah,
so
I hate.
I'm
I
not
hate
just
vinyl.
saying it because it's our band, but
I hate vinyl.
Yeah.
Yeah, not an old head, man. You just don't get it.
I'm 41 years old, bro.
It's the most pure way to listen to music.
Where's my stick?
Man.
Where's my stick? I'm gonna wave it.
Vinyl is the most expensive way to listen to good music.
Yeah.
Audio.
Like, I have like a $40 like Bluetooth record player type thing where it's like the speakers are in it. And like I put anything on that, it's like, oh, this sounds like shit. It's like I have headphones, so that would be like a tenth of the price of like good sounding vinyl setup.
Yeah, you're right.
But it's boutique.
It is.
Yes, indeed.
Listen, you're talking to the guy that like loves to invest money into pointless shit. So come on.
Luke bought 7 of his own
I'm
vinyl.
not saying vinyls are pointless. That's not what I'm saying. I mean, like, I spend time like, do I buy a WDT tool for my coffee in the morning just to like, mess with the grounds? Like, just it doesn't.
Have children. That'll stop.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think it just shifts at that point. But no, I mean, I do think for as much as you want to like shit on the quality of vinyl. I do think
Sucks.
that there is an intangible thing to vinyl quality, though. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
there are people that will spend time in like a studio environment trying to put on some effect to make it sound like the music's coming out through a vinyl.
Foolish.
Like there is some form of like whatever timbre there that people could be into.
Mhm.
So
Dummies. Dummies.
I thought you said gummies. I was gonna be like lots of weed gummies.
That's how it sounds better. Is if you have those.
Well, you said you want to be Joe Rogan. We're trying to help you buy the vinyl.
We're pushing
Yeah.
it.
I don't think he's in a vinyl.
Mm.
We'll
I don't
see.
know. But yeah, I mean, yeah, talk about. I mean, it's the whole like. I mean, getting it in the mail and available to send to your your fans, like it's got to be a cool moment, regardless of the sound. It sounds like shit, but
I mean, it's definitely a cool moment, especially like we've had very few like things that were physical that
Mhm.
were ever sold besides merch at shows and things like that. So I think if nothing else, it's a cool way that people can support us, and I think
Yeah.
it's a really cool way once
Mhm.
they get it to like the like I said, the posts and stuff like that were just really cool because whether it sounds like shit or not, it's cool collector's item in a way to support
kidding.
us, and it's I know, but it's just that it was a really cool feeling on our end to finally have a physical version of our music that is out there for the masses.
Yeah.
and is that
As-
the only physical version you have? Like you just have like
Currently.
vinyl and then digital, right?
Yes. Yep.
Mhm.
Currently, it's just the vinyl. And then we'll also probably, I think we'll have those on us when we go on tour and start playing shows in support of the record. So you can find it there.
Yeah, definitely.
It's cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, and you alluded to it, and it's no secret that getting vinyl is delayed. So much.
Thanks, Adele.
Is it still her fault? Is it still her fault?
I'm
Like,
pretty
years
sure
later?
like the
Gonna be her
massive
fault.
back order started with her, and they like have not
Wow.
caught up since.
I haven't heard that name until today in like 5
Wild.
months.
Yeah.
Is it still her
Well.
fault? I don't know.
Set fire
As
in
far as the
vinyl
design
business.
on the vinyl, is there multiple different designs, or just because of the way it's produced that it just happens to be different?
No, we got three separate designs. One is
Mhm.
the full evergreen color, and it's just a representative of like that dark green color that we've had going back a couple of years now as part of our image. And then we have a clearer one. It's a little bit more like a white tinge to it. It's a sea glass. And then we have one where it's kind of mixed, where the evergreen is splattered onto the sea glass background. So that's the three different versions you can buy, and they each are individual in their own right, but those are the three separate images you could buy with them.
You said Sea Glass, and I can't help but think about that song, Sea Glass and Springsteen. It's probably still to this day my favorite song.
Damn. Much appreciated.
Yeah, I love that song.
Yeah,
We wanted to have little odes to the OGs in there and all of our stuff, and that was one of them. So I'm
Yeah.
glad he picked up on it.
It's cool that there's the thought process behind all that, right? There's like
Mhm.
it's not just like, oh yeah, let's get some vinyl done and let's force it down our fans' throats and here's this, buy it. Like there's and maybe people don't know that, but now they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you just released this to 100 million people.
That's
There it
it.
is.
Yeah.
There you go.
I think
Hello,
what's cool too.
everyone.
I know Dalton just alluded to too with like the callbacks and stuff. There's a lot of cool callbacks even in the artwork itself, and even a lot of hidden detail stuff on especially in the vinyl. If you look into the books and stuff, there's a lot of little hidden things and that the label and the designers help put into that. Even the back of the record, there's a callback to one of our first merch designs, which is really cool. I think I love how this particular record is essentially, well, I mean, it's kind of where the name came from, right, guys? Like where the dust settles, I think was the initial idea that I think Luke was the first one to suggest that. But how all of this came into this moment in time for us, and we still call back to those earlier days with the balloon and the hot air and the
Lantern.
The lantern. Thank you. And then on the back, the Chinese box, the OG armadillo.
Yeah, the armadillo.
They were thinking about
Yes.
doing the armadillo, but we just couldn't make it work, I guess. So that his Chinese box is there.
That is actually that's a fun fact in itself. That is the only thing that we've ever released as a design as a band that was thoughtless.
Yeah,
Was
just
that
the armadillo with the
and
Chinese food.
food? Yeah.
Yeah.
My idea.
Yeah,
Just like,
that's
fuck it, it'll look cool.
It just meant nothing.
it.
Oh,
That's funny. I mean, is this like a thing you guys sit down and talk about? Like, to
I mean, I think so. Like, I think we sit down and try to hit it from all angles, and we want to make sure that the experience is immersive. You know, we want people to be able to like sit there and go, hey, look at this. I know where this is from. This is from that. And even if they don't, and then they get into us and they find it one day, and it makes it more immersive in the whole experience for us. You know what I mean? We want we want fans to be a part of this with us. And I think that those cool little things are just a way to bring our community even closer together.
so you guys sound like this is like a legit band. This is
We like to think so.
Yeah.
you're supposed to laugh.
We're like, yeah.
What?
Yeah,
Don't play the vinyl backwards. You know?
Don't do that.
They're on to us.
Not a good idea.
That'd be funny though. What if you did that? That'd be funny.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's some messages in there.
I don't
There's
think
some
we have done
messages.
it. We could say something bad, actually. I'm not responsible. I haven't heard it backwards. So.
Oh no.
But what I meant by that is a joke. But you know, you guys have all you have full-time jobs. This is obviously not second fiddle to that. But I mean, it has to be. This is something you're proud of. This is something you want for yourselves. You know, like talk about that too, because I think that a lot of people think that people just are in bands and it just happens and they play shows and they forget that it wasn't like it was in the 90s, late 90s, early 2000s, where you can be in a cover band and make a living.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are, again, full-time jobs. This is something you do as a secondary thing. Obviously you want it to be, hopefully one day it's a full-time thing, but right now it is what it is. Talk about the blood, sweat, and tears that goes into doing this, because again, this is not your full-time gig.
I think everyone here is just super dedicated to it. I mean, it's right now we all do have full-time jobs, but we treat this just the same. You know what I mean? We're messaging constantly and meeting constantly and figuring out what our next move is. And I don't think at any point it ever occurs to us that it's like even like secondary. To us, it's just a part of what we're doing. And we all really believe in what we're doing. So I think that it makes it a lot easier to be super dedicated to it and to devote the time and the resources and, like you said, the blood, sweat, and tears. I mean, it's just second nature to us. It's the stuff we love to do. And I've always said that, like, these are the guys I'd be hanging out with anyway, so it might as well make some music while we're at it, and do some fun stuff like that.
That's special.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think another part of it too is like it's just integrated into our lives. I think if you were to if I were to look at my life, for example, and map it out with what I spend my time on, I don't think I noticed how much I actually do spend on the band, or how much all of us actually do spend on the band, because it's kind of it's just my life, Like I don't really think of it as segregated from like work or free time or anything. It's just, I don't know, it just feels so integrated at this point. I mean, God, it's been over 5 years, 5.5, almost exactly. And it's like, this is just what I love to do. It's just what we're all doing together.
It's become a part of who we are and become a part of our friendships together, is that we're a part of this band. I mean, people that I don't see in years, the first thing they'll ask me is, how's the band? They don't ask me how's work. They don't ask me how's this or that. It's how's the band? You guys are doing this, you guys are doing that. And it's just become a part of who we are. It's really easy to stay dedicated when it's something that's so integrated, like Eric said, into your life.
Yeah. I mean, what does the Maguas mean to each one of you? I mean, it's been 5.5 years. You guys made it through a pandemic. You released the EP, so you can call it Good Beer. Then you have the EP Evergreen. You have a full length now. You've been through a lot. I mean, what does the band mean to each one of you guys? Start
mean,
with
the
Brandon
freaking
or
oh,
Matt. Start with Matt.
I mean, the experiences we've had are something that I would never 5 years ago, and I know I've said this before. I would never believe that we've been done the things we've done, But there is something insanely surreal about people you don't even know falling in love with a piece of art you created out of nothing, And to me, especially making music with your best friend straight out of college, and the days where we used to do the cover stuff, playing at like Thirsties and Irish Wolf Pub, and meeting you for the first time, like going to when you interviewed us the first time at 92.1. All of that was insanely surreal. So to me, I feel like every year the journey just keeps getting more and more exciting.
I saw the T-shirt you gave me, by the way.
Yeah.
I should
There
have.
Never seen you wear it.
I know exactly where it is. I know exactly where it is. I should have brought it. God damn it! I should have brought it
You gotta
down.
turn that into a loincloth.
The loincloth.
Yeah.
Get
that's
ready.
what it should
Get
be.
ready.
That's coming.
Yeah, no, I still have it. And again, I should have brought it down before I. Damn it! Missed opportunity. But Dalton, how about you? Have you found your socks yet?
No, I still lose my socks quite consistently. That'll never
Yeah,
change.
can
I mean,
confirm.
it's just every year I have to buy a brand new 3 or 4 packs because I lose them so often.
Every
But
couple of weeks.
yeah, every couple of weeks, that's true. But the band for me, I mean, it's really just about the experiences that I get to have with these guys. And like Jenk said, it's surreal to have people that like our art that, we might not even ever known 5 years ago, a year ago, any of that. But for me, the best thing and the coolest thing is like going to a new city. We got to go down, last year we got to travel all the way down to Orlando, played shows all the way down, all the way back, and then we've been out to Chicago and up to Boston, and every single place we all go out to get food or drinks or somewhere, and we're all exploring a new city, getting to play a show in front of new people we get to meet, and that's like what the Maguas are to me is like it's an adventure between 5 best friends going out and exploring the world and playing music and meeting new people, and I just there's really nothing I'd rather be doing. It's just that much fun to me. And it's an adventure every single time we step out onto the road or onto a stage or into a studio, and I just love it.
Very cool. Now I'm gonna do some really quick. I'm gonna ask each one individually because I'm gonna cut these all up into clips. So it'll be very nice. It'll be very special and very just prolific. Okay.
Mhm.
So when I ask you,
Yes.
you answer. No one else talk. Okay. I'm very limited in my abilities to edit. So if you're not asked a question, shush, shh, shh. Luke, what does the Maguas mean to you?
The Maguas to me is a lot about being able to have something that I could hold on to that is exciting and interesting and not necessarily like a means to an end, right? So like I think the big distinction between something that's like work or fun is one feels very mandatory and the other one is something you could opt into doing. And with the band, it's something that I feel like I choose to do and something that I want to spend my time pursuing, and being able to go to these different cities and see all these different things, play different venues, even down to just like what a stage looks like in a different bar or venue. It's really exciting to me because I constantly try to gain new perspective and like have new understanding of places and things. So I look at it as like my ticket to see the world, kind of, in a way. Not to mention, I didn't like go to school for music. I didn't pursue music in any way outside of what I did in high school. So it's something that's like very important to me to constantly stay involved in a musical sense, and to be able to do that with these people and to make music that I can connect with and hopefully other people can connect with, as well as eat my way through all of the US, hopefully. Like that's exciting. That's a really important and fun thing for me. So it doesn't feel like work, as hectic as it gets.
These are all great answers. Like they're deep. They're like these were prepared, and they weren't, which is awesome. Eric has it lucky because he's gonna be last, so he has time to prepare his final final
Start
speech.
typing.
Closing argument.
So Brandon, what do the Maguas mean to you?
Yeah, great question. For me, it started as an opportunity. I had never really played out live before or done anything like that, and having the opportunity to kind of explore that side of myself and learn and grow in that realm has been an incredible journey. It's been really special for me. And as we've come up as a band, I've learned so much of the business side of running a band. I've learned a lot about the creative side, and I've learned a lot about myself and my bandmates. And I think for me, the Maguas has kind of turned into this like cathartic, I guess, journey in a way where I've really come to understand myself a lot better and understand people, I think, a lot better too. I mean, through meeting people at different venues and working in a group with four other immensely talented musicians and artists and creators, and that's something that is unique in itself. And I'm very thankful for that opportunity. I think a lot of times, in I guess my other life, my other business world life, it's kind of just a 9 to 5, that kind of thing. Whereas this is something that I live and breathe for, and I wake up every day and think about how we can make this work or make it better, or take it as far as we want to go. And I think that's kind of a unique thing. It's almost like a life purpose in a way. I don't want to put it as that dramatic, but it's given me a lot of drive and a lot of focus into, if I want to make this happen, then we can make this happen. And I think that the people on this call, including you, Popko, in a way, like you guys all inspire us to keep moving forward and to keep driving this mission forward. And I'm very, thankful for that.
Yeah, you said that you view things differently, and you view different venues a different way, and you are able to take experiences from the band life and maybe apply them to other parts of your life too. I think that's so like, I wish, how do I say this? Oftentimes I find myself as a 41-year-old person, I want to I see someone doing a job and I say, I want to do that job. Maybe not forever, but maybe for a week, just to kind of put myself in their shoes, their situation, whatever it might be. And I wish I could do so many different things in my life, and life is so short. And I think when you get to a certain age, and I'm probably going off on a tangent here, and I apologize, but I just, there's so much that life has to offer. I don't think we get to experience. And what I'm getting at is, I Brandon, what you said is, I appreciate you seeing each moment that you have in this band, and the venues that you are playing and people you're interacting with. You kind of see different aspects of their lives too, to a degree, if that makes sense. I'm kind of, like I said, I'm kind of going on a tangent there, but it just there's so many people doing so many different things, and I wish I could experience everything. I always say that everyone should be forced to be a waitress or waiter in life to
Absolutely
appreciate the struggle that is dealing with the public every day. So again, going back to what you said, just kind of viewing things a different way. It's kind of what I'm pulling from there. Again, I'm sorry, but yeah, that's cool. It's cool you think that way. That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I think it's a like I said, it's a unique journey, and it's I think circling back to that point, when we play a song live, like for example, Release Me, whenever we play that song live, it's interesting to see the emotions it brings out of myself and our band members, but also people in the crowd, whether it's their first time hearing it or someone who's seen us 10 times. I always find in certain songs there's special moments where I sit there and I'm like, wow, like this is a song that's very personal to me, and seeing it connect with other people, and kind of then having those discussions after and hearing, oh my God, I love this song for this reason, and be like, oh, I never even viewed the song that way, but the fact that it connected with you in that way is a very special thing. Definitely.
That's one of the most beautiful things about music, is someone can hear something and take it completely different than what you wrote it for. Could I ask you what that means to you? That song "Release Me"? You don't have to tell me because a lot of people don't want people to know the real story. I appreciate that. That's fine. I always like hearing about it. That's
Yeah.
just me.
Hmm. Yeah, actually, "Release Me" is an interesting one because the actually the opening line. This is a little bit of a story, so I'll kind of try and tell quickly. In 2017, I graduated from college and I moved to North Carolina. I worked on a horse farm, and at that time, I was just saving up money. I decided, you know what, I want to get into music, whether that was like through a band or through some other way. I had a drum set that I inherited from my grandfather, who at the time was sick. And my goal was to refurbish the drum set. I bought a bunch of equipment, which then ended up turning into, long story short, when the band formed in 2018, I had, just refurbished that drum set. I had all this equipment in the basement, so that's where we started to practice. But the opening line, like we both know the answer, that entire first verse, if you want to call it that, was written on my like iPhone 5 or whatever in GarageBand, and it was like a little diddly or something or other. I did it on like a loop, and I sang that line, and then a couple years later, I revisited a lot of songs that I'd written during that time, and the whole reason for that was my grandfather had passed away at that point, and so I kind of was going through all those emotions and trying to write something that connected to that feeling. And "Release Me" for me was kind of looking at different emotions I was experiencing. So, there's a couple lines in there like I wish I had a little more faith, things like that. I had been in the room when my grandfather passed away, so I had a lot of obviously strong emotions at that point, and I knew that he was going to die, but I had a lot of trouble like believing in it, I guess, or believing that he was gonna not, or I don't know. It was very emotional. It was what I'm trying to get at is that I struggled in that moment to really grasp what was happening and really grasp what was gonna happen after. And so that song kind of, for me, the whole "Release Me" portion is kind of just a call or a yearning to get through that emotion and kind of be released from that. I mentioned a lot like in the rest of the record, like fear of loneliness and things like that, and fear of just death in general, I guess. And so "Release Me" is kind of like trying to get over those emotions, anxieties, and finding peace in it. So a little bit long-winded, I know, but basically
No.
the whole purpose of it is just that it's one of those songs for me where it brings back those memories. And when the music video is obviously very moving for different reasons. Whenever I watch that music video, I get emotional because I also view it from a different perspective of the old man scene when he's like dancing in the room by himself. This is both my grandparents passed in the same year, so my grandfather's passed in the same year. Both very influential in my life, and he and my grandmother were very close, and they were like the lovey-dovey, like dancing until their 90s kind of deal. And that scene of him like dancing alone in the room is actually something that I like envisioned in my life when my grandfather passed away. I envisioned my grandmother like dancing with his sweater along those lines, and so seeing that kind of come to life and using all those creative outlets to like bring everything there and kind of work through that again was such a blessing, and I'm thankful to the band for kind of listening to those songs and seeing that vision and giving me that avenue to kind of work through it, because it was obviously not a great time in my life. So I'm very thankful for that opportunity.
That's amazing. And thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
It's especially something so close and personal. Again, people oftentimes don't want to talk about that kind of stuff because they want it to hit however way they need it to hit, and it probably can still. But with that being said, as the drummer, I mean, do you do some writing too, as far as lyrically or?
Yeah. A lot of the lyrical content, melody writing will often take its initial stage with myself. I work a lot with Matt, and I are home, and Matt has a studio as he's mentioned before. and I'll get with him and kind of express some ideas, and we'll work through some ideas there, and kind of you know, write essentially as much as we can. They don't always end up being like a Maguas sounding song, but you know, I love to write. I think that's kind of one of my passions. So then the next stage is the band stage, the studio stage, the working through it and understanding everybody's perspective and take and how they view the song going. And I think that's a wonderful process in itself. It can sometimes be very, very painstaking in terms of finding that collective vision, but I haven't experienced anything too traumatic in that sense. I'm very fortunate in that as well. We've always kind of come together and found the best way to make the best songs we can, and I think that's very special.
And Eric, I mean, how is it for you as the lead vocalist? Is it hard for you to sing other people's lyrics to a degree, or is that just something that you know? I mean, obviously you guys have been around for a long time. I mean, how is that for you?
Yeah, I mean, I can't really say I ever thought about it too much. You know, I think going back to our very, very first songs we made, I mean, that was just a collection of songs we wrote individually. And then I think Funeral was the only song we kind of worked on together, and Brendan wrote the lyrics for that. Then moving forward, it kind of just continued on that way. I feel like I end up writing maybe a song or two on every project as far as lyrical content. But I mean, even the first EP, Good Beer, shout out to Good Beer.
Good beer.
It's always our first.
Check it out.
I think there was a song that
Yes.
Dalton wrote the lyrics for. I think Luke wrote the lyrics to Birdcage in like 2013 or something.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, I feel like we've never really had defined roles. I think at this point, it's safe to say that, you know, Brandon has a defined role as writing lyrical content. And I think for me, I mean, I prefer it because I just think he's better than I am at writing lyrics. I used to be very uncomfortable writing lyrics because, you know, I was never really implored to actually write what I want to say. I would always kind of write these lyrics that were like behind 3 layers of metaphors. And then when I look at it, once I'm done, I'm like, this just sounds fucking stupid. Like, it doesn't make sense. And, you know, I've definitely worked on that, but I think just starting off from, you know, such a collaborative effort, it never really seemed that weird to me. I don't know. I think it is weird that people seem to not really know that much. You know, I mean, we seem to talk about it a fair bit because, you know, lyrics is obviously, you know, a big portion of writing music. Like, to me, honestly, it feels a little weird when, you know, if you watch something, like I think a reaction video that we saw recently, like when people talk and just like assume that I wrote the lyrics, I'm like, oh no, Brandon wrote them. Like, what the fuck? I didn't do that. Like, I can't take credit for that. But honestly, I think if anything, that's the weird part. But I mean, when it really comes down to it, like, I just love the songs. And
Yeah.
we work on them together, and the finished product is something that still, you know, means a lot to me. And, you know, at the same time, I kind of take my own meanings from each song that Brandon writes, and I'm sure people take their own meanings from each song that I write.
I don't think I knew all this, which I think is pretty amazing, and I think that's what makes the Maguas work. I mean, you guys are a collective unit. It's not, there's no egos involved. There's no like, Eric, I'm the lyricist. Like, I write the songs and you guys fucking play the music. It's definitely, you know, all hands on deck as far as like, you know, how involved you guys are with the whole process, and I think that's an amazing thing.
I think it's honestly, it's kind of, you look back to our very first gigs, just playing covers at, you know, Thirsties or V-Spot, what have you. One of the things that always stuck out to people was we would just switch instruments all the time. Luke would sing a couple songs, I would play bass, guitar. Then there's the notorious
Oh yeah, I
Smells
know.
Like Teen Spirit, where I would play the drums and Brandon would play bass.
I don't know
And
how
I
to
think
play
Luke sang that one.
That one didn't sound good. That one didn't sound
That
good
didn't
at all.
sound good at
We
all.
played it late
Crazy.
in the set. That was
Yeah.
like 2.5 hours into the cover
That
set.
was-
It's like we're fucking doing
That
it.
was
Yeah.
that was Eric 10 rum and cokes deep.
That's
Trying to
it.
play the drums.
Yeah.
The
Sugar
best
digger,
was,
sugar digger, sugar
The
digger.
last
The best was
time
when we did it at the
played
V
that-
spot.
The last time we played it, I think was Thirsties. It was like 1:45 a.m.
Mhm.
and I went back behind the kit and I was like, "Oh fuck, my legs aren't working." I was like, "It's not happening."
I think that was the same night you got everybody to take their shirts off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well,
All
you
the
lead by
patrons.
example.
That's it.
Mhm.
A little Burt Kreischer
Yeah.
moment there, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
But yeah, I mean, we always just kind of like, yeah, let's have fun with it, you know?
hmm
Well, Eric, I have not forgot about you. What do the Maguas mean to you?
You know, to me, I think, and I've actually thought about this a lot, you know, just in the context of my life. So I've always been involved in music. I grew up around it. I always loved it. And, you know, you find yourself in that moment, like early to mid high school. And, you know, graduation's creeping up and you're like, the fuck am I going to do? And I feel like everyone has that moment. You know, maybe there's some people out there who are lucky and, you know, just know what they want. But, you know, I've considered going in. I mean, I considered going for tuba performance, you know, for singing, what have you, music teacher. And the thing that kept me away from all of those was I was just scared. I was like, no, you can't just do that. Like everyone tells you, like, no, that's stupid. It's, you know, you're never gonna make it. It's never gonna work out. And, you know, I listened to all those people. And, you know, I love what I do now, which I think is a miracle that, because, you know, you start a path and you're just kind of there and you're stuck with it. And you know, I'm very fortunate that I do enjoy my job and my career. But for me, starting this band was kind of like the first time I was willing to, like, I guess, go for it or like jump into the deep end, something unfamiliar, and like actually give it a shot. Which, you know, that really wasn't even the intention, I think, for any of us at first. You know, it was like I texted 7 people, let's get together, start a cover band, play a couple bars once in a while, it'll be fun. And then, you know, I don't know if there was really a moment where like we're gonna go for this, but once I kind of found myself in a band that was taking it seriously and we're like, you know what, let's just fucking try. I think that kind of inspired me overall. And, you know, at this point, every time I look at anybody and they're like, oh, like I like drawing or I like making candles or knitting or whatever it is, I always want to like just grab them, at least try, like at least fucking try, because, you know, I feel like there's a lot of people out there who have a lot of talent and they don't even try because they just don't have that thing in them that's like, you know what, I might as well try. You know, even if you're working 4 hours every night after a 9 to 5 or working all weekend, every weekend, like you might as well give it a shot. And if you don't like it, that's fine. You know, you're entitled to that as well. But, you know, just, you know, going back to how Brandon was saying, like it shifted his perspective. I think that was the main way it kind of shifted my perspective as to anything. You know, it's like, if you want to try something, you want to do it, you love something, just go for it. You know, what's the worst that can happen, really?
I think people get in their own heads sometimes and they create scenarios that don't exist.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by that is, you know, they think, oh, if I do this, people will make fun of me. Or whatever it might be. And we always get in our own way. And I think we're our we're our own worst enemies to a degree. I think that's very true. And I always, like, even me, like I get to a, you know, I'm 41 and I do things and I'm like, man, I wish I would have done them earlier. Like, why did I wait so long to do it? And instead of like saying that, I should be like, well, I'm doing it now. Like that's I mean,
Mhm.
I'm doing it now.
Totally.
Like at least it was like never a thing. Like at least I'm doing it now. But again, I think people, and I'm guilty of this too. Like I think people just like create scenarios in their heads, even with my wife. Like I'll downplay things that I do. Like I'll get real personal, and we both have very busy lives. We have 2 children. She works a ton. I work a ton. I picked up these things doing the basketball games. I do this podcast, and to me, this podcast sometimes seems silly. And what I mean by that is like, does anyone care? And I said to her, and we're just talking about like our week ahead, and I was like, she's got XYZ going on. Like I'm like, I have work. I'm doing this basketball game, and I said I have a podcast at 9 o'clock. I know that's silly and stupid and whatever. And then whatever. She said, "Why would you say that? Like, why would you like accuse me of thinking that?" She's like, "I love the fact that you do the podcast. I like." And the minute I said it, I was like, "This is what am I doing?" But yeah, I create this thing in my head where it's like what I'm doing is silly, it's stupid, it's no one cares, and you create this false narrative in your head, and I think it just happens to everybody, unless if you don't get past that, then you'll never experience great things that could be ahead.
Definitely.
Yeah. I think it's because, no matter whether you have 5 people at a show, 100 people at a show, 500, 1,000, 10,000, it's always going to be hard work. Like it's always going to be a lot of work. And I think a lot of people just don't give themselves the credit enough to be like, I can do the work and I can at least try,
Yeah, I think a lot of the issue is just the fact that a lot of it's all online, right? So like you could spend your entire time like sitting in a room just shooting like stuff off into the void and like you never hear back or whatever. So like when you're just in this like echo chamber of like nothingness, it's like, oh fuck, like what is all this? Why am I doing this? Like this is dumb, no one gives a shit. Which is why like when we get asked like what's the best way to support the band, or like it really just boils down to engagement. Like if someone's taking a risk on doing something, like the best thing you could ever do is say like, hey, I like what you're doing, keep it up. Like that's what's going to keep people driven to pursue and like what they are currently doing. So I think that's why like people spend a lot of time with self-doubt and things like that. It's because of the format that like you live in, basically.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
You
I
don't
think
get that
that-
real-time feedback.
I think that when Eric made a point about like I don't know when it became serious for us, but I remember like it becoming serious when we put out our first song or played our first show and someone went, "Hey, this is really good," and having that engagement of like that reinforcement of like, man, this was something that people enjoyed. Why don't we keep doing it and see how far it keeps going?
Yeah, that's like literally how it started off with Good Beer. Was we just like Eric said earlier, we had that as a collection of songs that we all did like separately over whatever the span of 8 years or whatever. So we're like, oh fuck it, like, let's put out these originals, and then we did, and then we had people responding to it. If we put that out and no one said shit, we probably wouldn't have released another thing. Because it was the response to it that we saw that we're like, oh man, like we should keep making original music. People like this.
Yeah, I remember a specific time when we played our first show in Poughkeepsie, New York, in front of whatever 10, 15 people. But we opened up for Send Request in Poughkeepsie at the
That was
Loft,
scary.
but we
Very
walked
scary.
off stage, and I remember the bartender came up to us, and she was like, "I see bands coming here and play all the time, and you guys are one of the best." And we're like, that was our first time ever playing an original song out in front of more than us. And I was like, just to have someone immediately say like, man, that was really good, that pushed us to want to keep doing it. And that's a feeling you crave once you get it too.
I apologize. I'm trying to look something up. I think I just said to Vinny, the V Spot, not too long ago, I want to get a show with, and interjecting because the Maguas sent a request, and then a band called Sunhaven. I'm not sure if you ever heard of the band Sunhaven before.
I think so. Are
New
they,
York.
Are they local? Oh,
New
okay.
York.
New York. Yeah,
For sure.
yeah. Great band. Check them out.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, we'll do.
Definitely.
Definitely check them out.
Did a podcast with them like 2 or 3 weeks ago, but that show would kill.
Mm.
It'll be a lot of
Maguas,
fun.
Oh yeah.
Sunhaven, Send Request.
It'll definitely be a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Why did I say this? The Popko Project presents.
There
what
it
I said to
is.
him. That's what I said to him.
Yes.
You're onto something. You're onto something.
You gotta sell it.
He's in. I mean, he's in.
Vinny's always in, baby.
Oh, yeah.
That's what we love about Vinny.
As long as it's a party, Vinny's in.
Yeah.
Vinny's our
Well, he's
boy.
a Sagittarius, so
He is a
Yeah.
Sagittarius.
It's
Oh,
almost his
yeah.
birthday, right? Isn't that what a Sagittarius is? December?
I don't know when
I
his
don't
real
know.
birthday is.
Oh, okay.
I only know when the V-Spot's birthday is because of Facebook.
Right, exactly. And everyone's like, "Happy birthday, Rock Han!" And he's like, "It's not my birthday.
Yeah.
Stop it."
I always forget about the rock.
yeah, it's November 22nd to December 21st. So somewhere in there,
So
Vinny will be
it's coming
yeah.
up. It's his
completing
birthday
another trip
soon.
around the sun.
All right. Well, it may have passed once this comes out, but we'll see.
We'll have
Happy
to-
birthday, Vinny.
Happy birthday,
Yeah.
Vinny.
Happy birthday, brother.
I feel like I'm always a sucker for the slower songs of the Maguas. Forget Me Not on the new record. You, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Record.
Yeah.
Release Me on the new record. I don't know why they just hit different. But on the opposite side of that, I mean, you have the song. I don't know how you pronounce it, but it's like XXX Bad Times XXX.
Yeah.
We just call it bad times.
Bad Times.
XX
Okay,
Bad
so
Times.
we'll call it Bad Times. But like that's like a kind of a heavier song for the
Yes.
Maguas.
Oh, yeah.
Talk about, and then I'll let you guys go. It's getting late. I don't want to keep you guys up too late. I know Brandon's probably got important stuff to do for his job in the morning. Not that the rest of you guys don't.
It's just Brandon.
thanks.
He,
Yeah, I
he
don't
did
do
say he had an
anything.
11-hour day today, so I don't want to get too
Oh,
much.
yeah.
But what I mean, compared to the previous couple EPs, I mean, what can people kind of expect from this new record? Were there some risks taken? Were there just like not even risks, just like, hey, fuck it, you know what? We're gonna have some slow songs, we're gonna have some stuff that may not be what people are used to. Talk about the record as a whole and what people can expect.
I mean, I think that collectively with this record, we went out to not write, we need this many slow songs, we need this or that. We just put out music that we enjoy playing and we enjoy making. And I feel like it's more collective on this album where you have a song like Bad Times and Too Close, and then you also have Forget Me Not, or you have You, and they're just total polar opposites, but they're all connected through, Brandon and Eric's lyrical content, and they're all connected through the emotions that we put into it. I think people could just expect an emotional album that'll take you through a journey that you probably aren't expecting, to hear this light, breezy song like Forget Me Not, and then a very dark and, maybe a heavy song like Bad Times or Too Close.
Yeah, I like it because we talked about experimentally doing like light and dark, right? Like the concepts of a lighter, softer, and then something darker, heavier. And this album is just kind of both. We put it together and put it out. And I kind of like that instead of making it like two separate distillate things, like making it one collection, because as a band, we don't play to just one sound. We don't start writing a track going like, yeah, like this is it, this is our sound, perfect. So I think like, sure, every once in a while maybe we like, okay, we won't put like the speed reggae, hip hop, whatever on there, but like there's like something to be said about having a more diverse sound as a band, and I like being able to display that and show that we are more than just like one thing. So it's cool to me, and I think like going forward, I personally wouldn't want to ever drop like the lighter stuff. Like if this heavier stuff's performing better, it's like sure we could do a lot more heavy, but like I always want a little bit of the light, like you gotta have balance. It's good. I like it.
It's a great collection.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think another thing that sticks out to me is at least one of my favorite aspects of Settled is, there was a time where I guess we kind of were thinking more like, okay, how could we make this the most cohesive Maguas record? And then I think by the time we were getting around to making Settled, instead of looking at two songs and saying, oh, these kind of sound similar, like they sound like us, we found ourselves in a spot where we were listening to Forget Me Not and listening to Bad Times and saying, yeah, okay, these both sound like us, even though, you know, if you just focus on the music or the key or whatever, they're not really that similar. But I think something I'm proud of is just whatever it is, there's still something that connects them. And I think that's, I'm definitely proud of that. And I think it's a step in the right direction, just to having a more fundamental understanding of like who we are and the music we write and how it all comes together.
Totally.
For sure.
And the thing is, we're re-releasing, obviously half of the record is songs that have been out too. And Jeremy loves to hark on this point from CI Records, is that Glum and Release Me and all these songs that are being re-released, I mean, they're still brand new to some people. He's like, these songs are out forever. And really, I love when I discover something that's already been out, like an old song, and I go, wow, like, and I look it up and I'm like, holy shit, this has been out for like 20 years. But to me, it's still brand new. And I think.
Where'd he go?
We lost them.
He thought too hard.
I think he's
his
Oh
brain.
no, did the hair match up?
Oh, there, the black hole.
It's the black hole.
Jenks and I's hair is the same length, apparently.
I'm definitely super excited for what's to come in the future, but it is cool to further push out these songs, because I really do believe that Glum and Release Me and a lot of the songs that have been written is some of our best work to date.
Well, to piggyback on that, and when I was listening to the record again the last few days just to kind of get ready for tonight, listening through song 1 through, I think it's 11 songs total. Glum came on, and I'm like, damn, it's such a good song. But again, in my head, I'm like, they released this a few years ago. It feels like, right?
Yeah.
But like, again, it was just nice to revisit that. And like you said, Matt, that might be the first time someone's hearing it. And even if it's not, if it's the second time, it's like, oh, damn, this is a good song. I remember this now. So it was nice that these songs that, were previously released in the single world that we live in, are on this collection of 11 songs on this new record called Settled. So, yeah, I mean, I'm sure Jeremy is smarter than the rest of us. But to our defense, Jeremy, listen up. As a consumer, it makes sense.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They'll be like, "Fuck you, Popko. You're an idiot." You're doing a podcast that no one listens to. Yeah, touche.
Oh.
Well, it is November 20th. By the time this comes out, it'll be early December. The year is almost over. Hard to believe. Let's say this comes out early December, like the first or second week of December. Is there anything coming up in December that people can look forward to from the Maguas, whether it be a show or whatever? And then talk about the year ahead in 2024 and anything you might have coming up then.
In December we're going to be putting out our first ever Christmas song, which will be that's like that's a Popko exclusive.
Yeah.
I didn't even know.
But yeah, we'll be putting out a Christmas song, and in terms of hitting the road, we're hoping to really start hitting the road again in 2024. We're often the kind of band, we used to play a lot during the holidays, and it's kind of happened now in the past year or so where we'll either do one show or we'll kind of just take this time to be with our families and kind of gather ourselves, because we do spend a lot of weekends together and a lot of time on the road. So I think our focus now moving forward, now that the record's out, is going out and promoting that record. There's a lot of stuff that we're trying to get together now for 2024, and all of that is kind of in the building stages of what's coming next. So you're getting the Christmas single out of us, and you'll get maybe some Christmas photos. I don't know,
Ooh,
something
okay.
like that. And then
Just, Santa hat over the dick.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Close
our
to-
exclusive Christmas calendar.
Yeah.
So
Close to a loincloth.
Loincloths
so
and
we just do
Santa
the-
Go to Maguas on OnlyFans and you'll find
That's
that.
$80
Sadly,
a
you'll
month.
probably make
Listen,
more
times
money.
are rough, guys.
probably right.
A band has to do what the band has to
We got-
do.
You gotta
Hey,
do what
I'll
you
show
gotta do.
some peen. Why not? Come on.
Oh God.
Oh no! Oh no!
What a send off. All right, now dwarf metal. Round it
Dwarf
out.
metal.
Real quick, if I can make one suggestion, I
Sure.
think in 2024, it might be too late. The ship may have sailed. Cover a T Swift song.
Brandon.
Maybe,
Cover.
I do
cover-
love T Swift.
So do I. I mean,
Yes.
think about it. Think about it. She's so hot right now. I mean, she's on every Sunday game, every Monday night game. She's on right now.
Yeah, oh yeah.
She's so
Big
hot.
football
Right
fan. T Swift.
Yeah.
Brandon, what one
Yeah.
would you do?
Ooh, that's a
Right now.
great send up question.
You have 15 seconds to think about it.
Hold on, give me a second.
You get 15.
I think Eric would crush. I would love to hear him do. I know Soupy did this from Wonder Years, but I would love to hear Eric do "All Too Well" by Taylor Swift, which is a
All
classic.
Too Well.
It's
The
a phenomenal ballad.
8-minute version?
Yeah, of
10-minute
course.
version.
Or
How
10
dare
minutes?
you?
Sorry.
version.
Oh, the 15-minute version?
Eric
Nah.
showing off his piano skills. I think it's time. I think it's time we do that.
Yeah. I say Anti-Hero. I want Eric on Anti-Hero.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
I get out of the woods stuck in my head. Let's do that one.
Oh yeah.
Eric's
Are we-
version. Well, you guys
Eric's
each
version.
do.
Eric's
no,
version.
here-
Yes.
All right, eat shit, Jeremy. Here's the thing. Here's what we're gonna do. Each member of the Maguas is gonna do their own. Like they're gonna pick one, and it's gonna be Brandon's version, Luke's
Perfect.
version, all of it.
Love
Matt's
it.
version, Eric's version. Jeremy, eat shit. You don't know what you're doing.
This is a sick idea. to happen. This
Are
is
you
to happen.
listening, Jeremy?
Presented by the Popko Project.
He's
I'm
not
here for
listening. He's not
Oh, I'm
listening.
sending this right to him.
Can
I'm gonna
someone?
give him your contact too.
it.
Yo,
Send
can,
Popko Records now.
Yeah.
I'll own CI Records. Can someone do "Welcome to New York"? Can that be someone's version? No, do the hidden track. Hidden track. Popko's version.
Love
Welcome
it.
to New York.
Ooh, there you
There
go.
you go.
There you go.
This is the
A
whole
vault-
EP.
It's a
This
vault
is-
track.
EP.
This
It's
is
a
the
vault
whole
track.
EP. This is the new spring release EP from the Maguas.
You heard it here first.
Jeremy, I got this
announce.
band going to the top, buddy.
That's
You know,
it.
you know, all right.
You're
I
gonna
love
ride
it.
Taylor's coattails.
Can we
Yes.
release the guys from the contract and CI Records? We're going to Popko Records 2024. Oh, that's good. I like that.
I
I
love
like that. Not Jeremy
Yes.
Ken.
Oh.
It's Popko's version. That's awesome, guys. This might be my favorite podcast in the
Oh.
past 3 years. It really might be. We kind of got into a lot, and I found out more about you guys tonight than I think I've known about you in the past 5 or 6 years. And you're one of my favorite bands locally, and I want to see you obviously go national. And sharing some of the meanings behind the songs tonight, that means a lot to me, for what it's worth. And just kind of seeing the inner workings again, like it's not just Eric being the primary lyric writer and things like that. This is a collaborative effort, 110%. And I think that's what makes this all work, and what has helped you have the success that you've had, and just has kept you guys together. I mean, it's I say it's a long time, because 5.5 years for a band could be considered a very long time to some people, just because it's an extension, it's a family extension. It's people you have to talk to every day and work with and communicate with. And as we all know, wives, girlfriends, and things like that, it's hard. It's a lot of work. But if you can be in a situation where it's not work, it's all gravy.
100%.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more.
So
Love you, Popko.
I wish you guys all the
We love you,
success.
Popko.
And
Thank you.
if this
Thank you.
podcast takes you to the next level, so be it.
We'll send you a card. We'll send you a card with
Yeah.
Eric naked.
We'll send you the
It says-
loincloth.
The loincloth.
Eric
The
in a
exclusive.
loincloth.
Yeah.
If nothing else,
Yeah.
send me the nudes. Send me the nudes.
Old fashioned through the mail.
That's it.
We'll write on him.
$99 a month.
It's a Polaroid.
Guys, seriously,
Yeah.
I love you guys. I love at least seeing you once a year in person. We always have the honor to get together at the Steam 10 Awards. We're
Absolutely.
fortunate and lucky enough to win the some awards and get our annual picture together. And I hope we can continue to do that for many years to come. Wish you guys the best of luck with everything. And happy holidays.
You
Happy
too.
holidays.
Enjoy your time off. Enjoy the family. Enjoy your friends.
We will do.
Where can people find you guys online? If they've made it an hour and a half into this show, where can people find the Maguas online?
Spotify, Instagram, Facebook. Brandon, what are you on YouTube?
Yeah, everywhere at the Maguas.
Just search the Maguas.
THEMAGUAS.
It's not a hard hack.
Yeah.
It's kind of a dumb question now that everyone ends the interviews with. Where can people find you? Just type in, go to Google, type in Maguas.
Pop
Yeah.
up.
It'll come up.
Fucking figure it out.
Do yourself a favor, look it up.
Jesus Christ.
We've got our
Spoon
own
feed everything
website.
to you.
Go to the
Yeah,
website.
go
yeah,
to
we
the
have a
website,
website.
Yeah, we have a
themagwas.com.
website.
Maguas.com.
www.themaguas.
Hey, got that
Yes.
That's it. That's where you find us.
And Brandon's address is
Yes. You can find him there right now.
document
Give me
the
the Maguas
end.
address.
Phone number is
Well, guys, like I said, best of luck. Love you guys.
Popko. Love you, man. Thanks
Love
for
you,
having
Popko.
us.
You're the
It's
best.
always a
Thanks
Thanks for
blast.
taking the
Sir.
time. Thanks
Thanks,
for
Popko.
Really
thanks
is.
for taking the time from the Eagles game to be with me tonight.
Yeah, I don't think it's looking good for us either.
Oh, no.
It's 14-17. It's
Oh.
Oh, okay. They scored.
I mean, the Chiefs are on their own 15-yard line, and they're looking to. I think they just got a first down, so they're looking to score. But there is
Yeah.
also 14 minutes left in the fourth quarter. So,
All right.
with that being said,
Sweet.
go watch the rest of the game.
All right.
Love you guys. Best of luck. Tell Jeremy there's no need for him anymore. We got it out.
We love it.
I'll talk to you guys soon.
Rock
right.
on, Popko.
Talk to
Thank
you
you.
soon,
Popko.
Popko.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
We'll see you
You're the
later.
best, man.
Peace.
See you.
See you.